Hi beautiful health seekers. I wanted to drop into the group and talk about detox, die-offs and symptoms, and how do you know what's a sickness and a symptom, or what's detox and die-off, and what do you do about it? So this is a really big one, and I remember being totally overwhelmed and confused by this when we were full into GAPS diet and trying to start our detox journey and eliminate out lots of foods and eliminate lots of things and clean out the body. And we had a lot of detox symptoms. We had daily rashes, vomiting, fevers, the lot. And I remember feeling overwhelmed by, like, is he catching things, or is are they picking up things because their immune systems are weak? What's what? So fast forward on a lot of experience and training, and I now know that the body is just detoxing, that there really isn't anything but that. So for instance, when your body is overburdened by something like a poison or a food that creates a toxin within the body will try and eliminate that out. So for instance, you know that if you don't get your coffee, the next morning you get a headache because the body's saying, oh, well, we want to get rid of that poison, so we'll send it out through any way possible. And you know that if you don't want to go through the detox that would take 3 days to get rid of it out of your body, you have another coffee and the headache goes away. So it's the same thing with detox. You have to go through it to come out the other side. So what happens is that the body will send it out through pimples and rashes and vomiting or coughing it up in any way possible. It will through the stools, through diarrhea, because it will send it out quickly. Any way to get out these toxins and excess mucus and parasites and things. So as I said in my last post, we're going through a big detox at the moment, and my poor little William, he had, for 24 hours, he had a really sore throat, because that was his thing. Like, he used to, and it was my thing. So I had strep throat, and I remember the first time I first got strep throat, it was about 16, 17. I got glandular fever as well, and that was the start of my body just, really suffering. But if I think back, although I've had issues my whole life, eczema as a child, and always a backed up lymphatic system, always swollen legs, always overweight as a child. My eyesight went when I was about 5. I started wearing glasses, which is another sign of a backed up lymphatic system and slow, sluggish lymphatic system. So even though I had lots of issues, that was definitely the pinpoint for me. And then when you have a child, you pass on your lymphatic fluid, you pass on your gut flora, you pass on your bacteria, you pass on everything to the child, your toxins, your history, your DNA, everything. So William automatically got this particular rife bacteria, and he would get regular sore throats and sore bottoms, and so did I. And now, since being on a beautiful high fruit raw cleanse, we have had this lovely cushy period of just feeling really good. And now we're ready to kind of go deeper and deeper and deeper. And as the body heals, it goes through something called a healing crisis. And what that really means is, it's a word for it, but what it really means is that as things come up out of the body and die and remove themselves from the body, and the body heals that weakness, it comes up and then leaves. So you have to go through that period of reliving the symptom to get it out of the body. So for instance, what's the difference between symptoms and detox? Well, symptom is that your body's overburdened and it's just trying to get everything out as soon as possible. So you live with lots of colds and lots of flus and lots of gastros and rashes and pimples and things, because your body's trying to eliminate constantly. When you go to a high fruit raw lifestyle, you unburden the body enough that it can then start healing itself. So it's not the fruit alone that heals. That is the thing that takes the burden off the body, to allow the body to actually go, oh, Well, we're not working so hard on digestion anymore, and we're not trying to eliminate these poisons out anymore, so we can actually go and heal that bacteria overgrowth or that tumour or that pocket of fluid in the ear that we need to get rid of. So then you go into the detox symptoms. So one is like imagining the pot just overfilling and you're just constantly in that place where just, cold after cold and runny nose after runny nose, which is just your body saying, I don't like this, I want to get it out. Come on, let's get it out. When you start lowering what's in your pot, then you go into detoxing, real detoxing, although your body's detoxing all the time, even if you are still putting stuff in, it starts to get rid of the old stuff, the deep old stuff. So for instance, like my husband broke his arm, and when he does fasting or detoxing, his arm aches because that's his weakness. That's what the body's trying to put the effort into. It takes the effort from digestion and puts it back into healing the arm. For me, it's my eyes. My kidneys are incredibly weak. I'm still working on healing my kidneys. So when I go through detox, instantly my eczema comes up around my eyes. That's my weakness. Everyone has a little thing that comes up. Edward's is that he, his weakness is very much chest infections, ear, nose and throat stuff. So when he goes through big detox, he brings up all this mucus and he heals his lungs. With William at the moment, it's this sore throat. But he hasn't had this detox symptom for a really long time. Well, I think this is the biggest detox he's actually had in regards to his strep throat. So I know that once he goes through this, he'll come out the other side and he won't have to deal with that again. So a few things that I use to help, because there's something you can do to sort of what I call a detox bubble, and you can help, get yourself over that. So we did gargling with On Guard, peppermint, On Guard, lemon and eucalyptus for William, with some coconut water, and he had lots of orange juice. So we're doing him mono astringent fruit cleanses at the moment as well. With Edward, he had a very sore rash on his bottom, so I used coconut oil with lavender and peppermint. I also did castor oil packs on William's throat with eucalyptus to help draw out and kill off that bacteria that's all inflamed there. And I did castor oil packs on Edward's kidneys as well. Within literally overnight, they've woken up today feeling so much better. Now, if I had suppressed that, if I had said, oh, this is too intense, my poor children, this is too intense, I stayed strong because I've done this many times. I've helped other clients go through this. So I knew it was detox. I knew it was worth celebrating. I went through it. I supported them, salt baths, lots of love, lots of anything I can do to help them through it. Hot towels, cold towels, everything I could do. And they've woken up and they've pushed through it. Now, if I had suppressed that, we would be back to square one again. And we'd be back to going, okay, we've got to do this again. We've got to push through these symptoms again. So I'm not saying push through if you don't feel comfortable, but you get a lot of gains out of it. It's a hard one. So what's the difference? So noticing when your body is just overburdened by food, by environment, by stress, and it's showing signs of its overburden. So you're continuously in a place of cold, runny nose, sinus infections, headaches, rashes, and noticing when you're actually eliminating things. So you're not just, that's just everyday life, and you're having those symptoms. So that's a symptom of an overburdened body. Then when you've actually taken the burden off your body and you're starting the detox process, and then you're getting symptoms up, that's the difference. That's detox, die off, which means that it's coming up and out and it's dying off, and you never have to deal with that symptom again. So for instance, I've heard stories of people that broke their foot when they were 10, and they're 40 days into a cleanse, and suddenly their foot excruciatingly painful for 24 hours, and then it disappears. Well, that's the body putting all of that energy into cellular repair within the foot because they have unburdened their body. So hopefully that clears up the difference of, reacting to a symptom, to the difference of detox and die off. And, next time you have that headache when you've stopped your coffee, or that you're, going through your day 4 into removing sugar and you're having all these feelings, push through it, because that's your body trying to eliminate out and protect you and get rid of this stuff. So in regards to children and doing cleanses with them, obviously we have to do it much slower. It's a much more guided process. It's very well we can put ourselves through intense cleanses, but not for the children. It has to be slowly done. It does take time. You have to have periods where they're on this beautiful lifestyle for a long time before they feel nourished enough to be able to do that. But it's also about, you know, using natural remedies to get them through detox. So if they've got a fever, which is the body's way of, you know, it heats up the body so that it kills off the virus. It's incredibly clever. Now, if you obviously suppress that with some sort of medication or anything, even natural supplements to try and stop that, you are not allowing the body to actually do what it needs to do. So that virus and bacteria then just carries on living and breeding within the body and taking the nutrients away from the body instead of actually going into healing. So some natural things you can do is just putting peppermint on the top of your child's forehead or your forehead, and that will, like I said, pop the detox bubble. There's many ways using essential oils. Even homeopathy is very supportive. Salt baths, detox baths. There's many ways that you can kind of ride through detox a little easier. But the main thing is to understand that every runny nose, cold, symptom, bubble, pimple, anything is your body trying to expel something. So the detox is a really good thing. Symptoms are a really good thing. And it's a real mind shift to get into that place where you're no longer in fear of like, oh my God, my child's got a fever, or my child's got this rash, and he must have eaten this or done this or done this. And you know, I remember that place of panic. I really remember being there, you know, demonizing a banana because he's just had this rash, where actually it was the banana pulling out, you know, pulling out the stuff, like helping healing him. So I didn't want to make this video too long, so I'll keep it quite short, but we can carry on the conversation below. Maybe you could ask me some questions if anything comes up for you, if this triggers anything for you, if you're like, yes, God, I'm in this place right now, detoxing with myself or my child's gone crazy. And you know, often with autistic children, what we find is that you know, you almost go into like, oh my God, he's reversing into these symptoms. Weren't we over this? Surely we dealt with this before, and now suddenly he's going back to doing stimming that he never did, or reactions that he never did. And again, it's those parasites dying off. It's the body clearing itself out. And it's hard, but it's about staying really strong in that place, and like, you know, really just having the faith that you'll come out the other side. Much love to you all.